Well, say that it has not been an interesting week in NPRC would be a flat out lie. We have a new king of the streets, a queen actually. Lots and lots of drama over that victory. People wanting to give up the hobby, feeling that they'll never be able to run that fast. Lots of tire drama. Poor Josh Cyril and everybody. That's a bad situation all around. We'll talk about that. The excitement over the new associated frame release. Just a lot of cool stuff coming up on the Fast on Facebook show. I'm Chad. This is the Dorky and 40 RC channel, and we're going to get fast on Facebook today. So let's go. First of all, a huge shout out to you guys. A toast to you. Please don't make fun of me for drinking light beer like you did my amazing solder job on that Castle ESC. I, of course, posted a picture that we had it installed and everything's ready to go on the community page. And a lot of people noticed the horrible soldering job. And the whole thing behind that is when I wired up that ESC last year, I was so excited. I just soldered everything in. Those ESCs are made for bullet connectors. Like if you buy a Castle Mamba Monster 6 or 8S, make sure that you are using bullet connectors on the end of your wires and put them in. Once you put solder in there, it's just a mess. It was a hard time getting the wires out. Got the wires back in, everything is good, but that's where you live and you learn. So I've definitely learned a lot, and I'm passing that on to you guys. Bullet connectors always on your Castle. But seriously, the outpouring of just like comments and everything on the channel here and on the Facebook groups and stuff when I chime in a little bit or just put the channel out there to like new guys, just hearing how much like we've done here on the community and all the great feedback from you guys, it really makes me feel great. Probably not as good as winning 20,000 bucks, but almost as good. And I mean, to a lot of the guys and gals that are frustrated that thinking they're never going to run those 1.6s or 1.7s, I really say, so what? Like, this hobby means so much to me because if you're new here, you know, I started this adventure 2 years ago when COVID started. Work in healthcare. Those first 6 months of COVID, nobody really knew what was going on. It was a very, very rough time in life. And really the past 2 years for myself have been pretty rough in life. You know, I'm actually going to be dorky and 45 this year. So I'm entering that pinnacle point of my career. You know, that point where like you're the guy that knows everything or you know how to get things done. I had to do a lot of things and just like work hard and just really push myself and my knowledge and my limits over the past couple years. And the only thing, well, one of the biggest things that kept me going was this NPRC sport. Just enjoying the hobby, enjoying the cars, being outside with my friends. You know, now it's obviously just taken off to just such an extreme level. A lot of people, I can kind of see the frustration. You know, they don't have the team, they don't have the money, they don't have the resources, whatever. And, you know, they want to run 1.698s or 6.89s now as well. I'll probably never run that fast, but you know what? I'm just going to keep chipping away at everything and enjoying this. You know, we've got new products coming up. We've got new chassis coming in. I've got tons of prep to try here. We've got paint and everything that we're going to be doing on the new body. My GTR actually turned out all right. So we're going to be doing the nice candy coat windows. Thanks to my buddy Rufus for showing me and teaching me the ways, and of course to RC McFaster for giving me that inspiration when I saw his badass car. So just hang in there, have fun with your buddies, guys, have fun with yourself. I've never had any ambitions of being like a national champion or like the fastest guy in the world. I mean, I don't know, like I know some people do, and that's great that people are driven to that point. But I want to be here to help all you guys so we can all just have fun and go faster and just enjoy this hobby / sport or whatever. Do I plan to go to some local regional races around Ohio, Kentucky and stuff? For sure. I'm definitely going to some of those this year. But you'll never see me traveling to Las Vegas, especially not being able to run a car for 3 or 4 months. There's plenty of good competition around here. Jeff, Willie Holly, Heath Fesler, Mark Price, just to name a few. So believe me, there's some pretty stiff runners around here. I'll be pretty excited to see what happens when all these East Coast Midwest guys get all mixed up with everybody else that's been racing constantly throughout the winter while we've been sitting here snuggled inside. So yeah, Samantha Joan won the King of the Streets. Just awesome racing. Car was on fire, no doubt about that. There's been a little bit of drama about what kind of prep she runs and everything like that. Just, you know, stuff that I really don't know the full story about. But when I see certain people make comments, I kind of have to go onto their side because I know what kind of people they are. And if you're looking at this post, you probably understand where I am coming from. Now, I'm not going to waste your time scrolling down through all this stuff. I'm sure most of you have seen it, but there have been a lot of just long and drawn out discussions about the hobby, leaving the hobby, everything else like that, what it's going to actually take to win, so on and so forth. Again, I think we covered that already at the beginning, what my feelings are. It's just the way it is. I think that we will just have this upper class of racers that the rest of us will never be able to catch, and that's fine. They've got the resources, they've got the team around them, they've got the money, and they do get the best products despite what people say. Or Tom Rockwell wouldn't race their best motor, you know, at a race. Why wouldn't you? You think they're going to run their shittiest motor that they have? They all probably keep back those little diamonds in the rough that they find throughout all the testing, and that's fine. They're allowed to. I saw a lot of good comments about like comparing things like Roar and IFMA, the other leagues that are like European, off-road buggy, that type of stuff. And I mean, it pretty much makes sense. Like those guys are running prototype stuff constantly, trying to get stuff ready for the next year. I mean, they take their stuff super serious, and the money is nowhere near amount as what they're winning here at these drag races. So along with the drop of the DR10M, which you know I have pre-ordered and I'm super excited about because I think it is a great step to the next level that we all need to perform better without taking that huge leap into something like an Apollo or something else. But there's been other chassis that were released this week. Mobo Racing actually has released this very interesting tube type of chassis, and Morbo Racing, that is. I reached out to him and said, hey, I like the looks of this. If you would want it on the channel, let me know and maybe we can talk about it. So I'm trying to reach out to these manufacturers, guys, trying to see like to get some products and stuff to, you know, kind of give you the influencer reviewer type of opinion and stuff. But this RC thing is a very different nut to crack. Like it works in all other hobbies, like FPV, where I come from. That is how they get their products out there. It seems like in RC, all they care about is that you got to go out and win a race. Even though if you add up how many views and subscribers we have here in this community, it's more than probably, well, I was just looking around and I don't think I could find very many top tier professional RC drivers that have the community that we have, and that's just a fact. So again, hands off, salute to you guys. And I think one of the next steps that we probably are going to take here on the channel is maybe we reach out to some of these actual racers and see if we can get them on here. No reason why we can't sit here and rap with the people like Mark Fine, Jeff Zuckerell, anybody like that. So if you guys want to talk to me on the channel and spread some of your knowledge, please let me know. We're not going to sit around and talk about tacos and everything else all day like some other shows. We are going to give you guys facts, knowledge, and it's fun. Now we're going to talk about the whole Cyril tire thing. And man, this just kind of blew up out of nowhere. Last week, we were talking about how we hadn't really seen a whole lot of testing on the tires yet. Like I think people were just starting to get their orders in. People were using them at King of the Streets. And then all of a sudden it just blew up on Facebook between a couple individuals. And, you know, Josh had a live stream and everything like that. And, you know, it's a pretty unfortunate situation for everybody, quite honestly. You know, if I'm talking about the accelerator drag radials and, you know, the whole kit and caboodle that he's done, the injection molded wheels, the foams, everything. Now, it sounds like from the start that this project is definitely a huge passion project. And everybody complaining about Voodoo tires and being able to get them and everything else. You know, this guy listened to the community and he took a big leap of faith for everybody, and everybody took a big leap of faith with him. They gave him the money to basically fund his vision to provide a tire for everybody else. And unfortunately, it looked like that vision did not get to the finish line. You know, he was given a product that was inferior to what the manufacturer had said it was going to be. and he's admitted that there's an issue. You know, the problem is it's kind of like, you know, when you crowdfund something and then like you don't, if it goes bad or you don't like the product that you get, then you're just kind of out of it. You know, I think he is got some honest intent here to try to figure out a way to make this right. Hopefully the manufacturers that are, you know, give him the poor belts. If you don't know, like the belts are ripping on him, which belts rip on every tires. But, you know, it does seem that his have a super high failure rate. On the live stream, he really couldn't admit one way or another if people should be running the tires or not. He said, you know, it sounds like the tires weren't tested in a lot of conditions that they should have been tested in before they were pushed out. Super traction, you know, bad shutdowns and stuff like that. Just putting them in something more than like a nice straight pass would snap those. He even demonstrated it on his live stream when he took the tire and he literally just twisted it and it just cracked. So, you know, it's a bad situation. You know, like I think that he went out on a limb for us and we all went out on a limb for him. So the best thing that we can do now is just kind of have patience and just see how this plays out and hope that the overseas manufacturer will make it good for him in some way, that he can offer some kind of, you know, I mean, obviously, like he said, he cannot afford from the crowdfunding money to like give everybody their money back because that's how he got this stuff. So it is kind of a gamble. I did not take place in that, you know, just because honestly, the price right off the bat to me, I thought was a little expensive. You know, for me to say, hey, check out these $90 tires, you know, for wheels and sets, when I'm a big believer in reactions. You know, I finally did order some Voodoos at regular price. You know, I was never going to pay hundreds of dollars for Voodoos. In fact, when we get the Voodoos, we're going to be giving some away right here on the channel. So if you're not subscribed, right now is a good time to. You can support the channel also by just giving us a like, a comment below, or if you feel like purchasing something through Amazon, you can use one of our affiliate links in the description below, or you can use the paypal.me link and buy me a beer, and I'll make sure it's a better one than this. So yeah, we all had high hopes, man, and I just hope it all works out somehow. We'll see. It's just going to take some time. So I think the biggest takeaways from that live stream were just don't run the tires. Just leave them set. Wait for Josh to kind of, you know, work things out one by one, talk to the manufacturer, see what he's able to do. Maybe there'll be some kind of an exchange. I'm sure there might be some more money that might have to come out of the end buyer just to kind of help him along. It's kind of how this stuff goes. It's very unfortunate. But, you know, it seems to me that his heart's in the right place and it is a passion project. You know, it's just with the minimum quantities and everything else, he probably had to raise a certain amount of money, couldn't leave any money, much money behind, you know, to plan. You don't plan to buy something and have like a 70 to 80% failure rate. Or as he said, you know, I can't answer if you should run the tires or not. So at that point, despite what he might say that some people are running them good and some people are not, I mean, I'd have to say you're looking at 100% failure rate because you just don't know. And if you really want to crash your $1,200, $1,300 car because you think you might be able to get another 1/10 of a second, or you don't have Voodoos, just sit tight and relax. Hey, who's that guy? I know who that is. RC McFaster giving me a shout out on Facebook, talking about, you know, me talking about how cool his body looked. And there was a lot of good comments on there and stuff as well. So I was pretty excited about that. Oh yeah, the GTR body. So I heard it through the grapevine that if you have a GTR body that actually has a deformed hood, email Proline support, Horizon Hobby, with a picture, and they will basically refund your money. I've heard people doing this. They told them just to keep the bodies as well. They've stopped selling the GTR body because the molds were bad, and I don't know when they're going to start reselling them or whatever, but that's just kind of where we're at with that GTR body. Of course, there's been a couple huge releases. You know, people are loving the Shark body. People are loving that, the Adam RC or Andy RC one, whichever one I showed you last week. I think another body or two got released to King of the Streets as well. So there's a lot of cool stuff that's coming up, that's for sure. Here on the channel, of course, we've got the breakout build that we'll be finishing up. Don't know when the associated kit's coming. It's saying at mid-May, but with the way things are in China right now, you know, we might not see those things until June or July, but we'll just have to cross our fingers that everything works out. We're going to have our hands full with the old breakout back here, getting it ready to go with that castle system anyway. I've done a few little modifications and tweaks to the car, not doing anything super crazy like changing out the chassis or any of that stuff like I was thinking about doing there a couple weeks ago with the whole weight reduction plan. We're going to leave it pretty much as is because we got a good stable car and a great platform. And with the things like the get stuck prep that we're going to be testing and running, I think we might have a good chance of getting into those 1/8. That's the Mach 22 body by the little picture of it right here that Chip's posting. Figure I owe them that much since I got their name wrong and everything. So looks pretty good, man. Looks really nice and clean. I've heard it is super long, and boy, it does look super long. But man, good lines on that thing. I think Tim Smith was running it and a few other people at King of the Streets, and it looked like they had some pretty good runs with it. So I like that, man. That looks really good. But I'm really glad to see that a lot of people are, for the most part, still being positive. You know, there's races and stuff being scheduled and everything. Here we go. People talking about the DR10M, all kinds of good stuff going on. And again, finishing with my friends over at the Castle page, it just really seems like the Castle system is just really working out great for a lot of people. And that makes me super excited because, you know, as far as I can tell, I'm one of the first people that actually switched over to the Mamba Monster 8S. As soon as I heard Mark Vine talking about it, I was like, that sounds very interesting. I went to the hobby shop, picked one up, and you guys know the results ever since. I mean, it's been nothing but just heat on the road and boom, just chipping away at that speed, going. Can't wait to see where we get with it, even with this motor now with the 1412 Castle. I mean, people are really rocking and rolling and ripping with this thing. So I'm just like super excited to try the thing out. Again, another beauty shot of the car, cleaning it up, working on tires, working on the shocks, getting those rebuilt, getting the whole car just cleaned up and everything like that. Going to be working on the body this week and everything, and hopefully we are going to be getting out here soon. I know I've been saying that for weeks, but we're in this pattern where it's in the 40s and 50s and rains for like 3 days, gets into the 70s, and then right back to like the 30s and snowing, man. Like it just will not stop, driving me crazy. Truth be told, I have been cheating on you guys a little bit and flying a lot more FPV because I can do it right here at my house. I've been totally tinkering around with that stuff a lot. Boy, talk about a frustrating hobby. If you guys thought that these things were difficult, imagine having to update the firmware on your radio, your receiver, your ESC, your flight controller, your video transmitter, your goggles, and then just hoping you didn't break something or the developers didn't brick something when you are doing all that. Times 8 or 9. I don't know how many quads I have. But that's going to do it all for this show. Again, guys, thank you for so much for all the support and everything. It really keeps me going and gives me drive and purpose. All I want to do is provide you guys with the best content that I can give. Try to be a positive influence in the community and just have fun, man. That is what this is all about. So get a couple of your buddies together, get some brews, whatever your pleasure. Go out to a parking lot and rip these cars. Have some fun. Don't worry about being fast on Facebook. It does not matter. I already have that title, right? And that's it. We'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.